Okay. Welcome to How to Create a Lead Magnet That Converts webinar. I'm just going to wait for people to get here and we will be starting shortly. And for those people that are already here, I would love for you to use the chat window and let me know who you are, where you're calling in from. I love to know that information, sort of what your background is, everything. And we will be starting shortly. Amazing, everyone who is joining us. Again, please let me know where you are in your business, what you're hoping to get out of tonight's seminar, kind of where you're at, where you're calling in from. Okay, so hi, Emily and Kristen. Oh yes, absolutely. Looking to find out as much information as you can about hooking new patients. Absolutely. And I'm assuming you can hear me okay and that you can see my screen. Welcome everyone. And if someone could just let me know that the audio is working okay, perfect. Emily, thank you so much. And really, the chat window is going to be the best way and really the only way for you to interact with me tonight. And like I say with all of my webinars, I have created this 100% for you to give you guys the next hour of completely uninhibited information from me, no distractions. I'm 100% here for you for the next hour. So especially Emily and Kristen that are listening in, I want to make sure that you walk away with as many tips and tricks and things that I can give you to help you kind of get those new patients. Everybody else who's joining, please introduce yourself. Use the chat to kind of interact with each other as well. And I'm just curious, is anybody on the call new to me? Like, am I new to you, I guess I should say? Because if you know me, you know my history, then we can skip through a lot of the intro slides and we can move right into the whole thing about creating a lead magnet. Again, that's going to require me to engage with you. So please be using the chat window in Webinar Jam as much as you possibly can over the next hour so that I can tailor this webinar 100% to what you guys are looking for. And we will start in the next few minutes. So why don't I kind of get started with the intro slides then, just to kind of refresh everyone's memory about who I am. Kelsey says, hey girls. So I'm assuming you guys know each other. So here we go. So with regards to today's presentation, ultimately I'm going to start just by introducing myself and then we'll jump right into it. As much as you possibly can engage with me and ask your personal questions and tell me about who you want to target your lead magnet for, the more you're going to get out of this webinar. Please use this hour to your advantage. So brief overview, ultimately that is me in the top right-hand corner. That's how I engage with you guys with these webinars. That's how I engage with my podcast. And then below, that's kind of me doing my naturopathic thing on Cable 14, my book, Maximized Health, that I wrote and launched last year. And then on the right-hand side, of course, is my family. And then my new one, who is just cooking away. She's almost 38 weeks now, or we're almost 38 weeks now. And she's probably going to kick me throughout this presentation, and you're going to have me here, or you're going to hear me be a little bit winded, and I'm going to be drinking lots of water. So please forgive me, but my lung capacity is just not 100%. Now, with regards to kind of why I'm doing all of this, I've really become, over the past year, very driven to change the conversation for healthcare practitioners that we can be profitable in this industry. And if all I do is just help you relieve a little bit of the stress, prevent you from making some of the mistakes that I did, then I'm doing everything right. And for those that know me from previous podcasts, I really wanted to become the business school instructor at CCNM, the Naturopathic College in Toronto, and unfortunately did not get that job. But because of that, it actually really spurred me to launch the maximizedbusiness.ca website, my Done For You 7-Day Detox program, my online course, which I will be relaunching or opening the doors again to in February. So, sometimes these things that we don't want to have happen to us actually help us in a different way. And for the most part, for my education, while I definitely am keeping up to date with naturopathic stuff, I really do put a lot of emphasis and a lot of time into learning the business side of things. And that's why I'm hoping, if I can share anything with you, it's how to run a business well. And the biggest thing that I keep finding is that there's people that are trying to teach us business and marketing, but actually aren't naturopaths or holistic practitioners themselves. So they're doing it more from like an MBA perspective. And what we want to do is, take away all that confusion and take away the fear of growing your business and start making this as easy as possible without all of the concerns and the questions and, how is it going to implement, or how could you implement it in your practice? That's the main goal that I have for what I'm doing for you guys. And I've really found that this whole idea of mentorship and supporting my colleagues has actually kind of reignited a fire in me and really helped balance sort of my goals for myself. And it's been wonderful. And I so appreciate all of you that are showing up on a Wednesday evening to spend this time with me. So I really, really want to make sure that I can answer every one of your questions and get you really kind of going after this seminar. And the biggest thing is I just want to teach you how to work smarter. So, we do have confines with regards to regulations, regardless of what profession we're in, and we can find ways to still make our business work despite those regulations. So let's find ways of doing that. And remember, guys, it's just me. So I'm a one-woman show. I had to, I worked a full 12-hour day today and still came back home, rushed to get home, get these slides created, do the webinar. So there's nobody that's doing all this work for me except for me. And it's been doing very well with regards to my practice. So I, in my first year, almost generated $100,000. And since then have easily surpassed $100,000 in gross revenue. And last year was probably one of my best years yet. And it was shortly after having Aria, where I increased my patient visits by 43%. 15% of them were new, or 15% more new patients booked into the office. And that was because of all these things that I've been learning and now kind of teaching you guys. And remember, it's always going to come down to just baby steps, but taking those steps. So taking action. And it's just one course at a time and one YouTube video at a time that you create, or one Facebook Live video that you create. But you just always want to keep moving in those baby steps in the right direction. And the biggest thing that I'm sure everybody has heard me say, if you've ever heard me talk before, is never, ever try to recreate the wheel, and really try to find ways of reusing the material that you've already created instead of exhausting yourself by always creating new content and new this and new that. We just want to kind of repurpose it in a different way. And if you are following successful people in your industry, really emulate what it is that they're doing. There's no reason why you can't achieve what they're achieving, and you don't need to kind of go out on your own or pave your own way. So the most important thing that everybody needs to be very aware of is that I want nothing more than for you guys to take action and be successful. Because if you don't take action, and I've been on coaching calls where, you know, everyone always says, well, I feel like I should be doing this, and I feel like I should be blogging, and I feel like I should be, you know, getting more new patients, and I should be doing more seminars. And we always have all these wishes for ourselves, and then we get so paralyzed by all the things that we want to do that we just stop moving in any direction at all. So just taking small little chunks and just completing those bridges. If anybody has read the article that I posted for the NDDC or for the NDNR, it was about, you know, completing your bridges and making sure that when we start a bridge, we finish it. Because if we don't finish our bridges, then we're always going to have these half-done projects. And if you don't complete any of your projects, then what's the point, right? You're putting a ton of effort and energy into getting them started. But if you're not completing them, then they're not going to be able to start influencing your patients and influencing your business. So make sure that you are always taking action, just little steps, time and time again. So with regards to the lead magnet, we're jumping right into the information. And you guys know that I'm not about the fluff. I'm not about just sort of, you know, this is kind of what I've heard that you should be doing. I really like to give concrete information to get you started. And remember, as we go through this section, use the chat window so that I can see exactly what kind of free offer you're thinking about making, who your target audience is, and let me use you as an example. And we'll walk through it 100% every step of the way. So by the time you're done this call, you know exactly what you need to do. And there's no concerns, okay? So please, please, please use the chat window to your advantage. Okay, so with regards to why lead magnets are so important is because offering something for free, number one, helps you grow your email list. And we know that an email list is incredibly important, especially if you want to start doing anything online in your future. The bigger the list, the more you've got people just waiting to potentially buy your services or buy your next program, or if making an online program was something that you had in sort of your in your line of sight, something that you wanted to create, having that list developed is going to be very, very important for you. And the best part about these email people is that they may not necessarily be ready to book into the office with you, but as you continue to nurture them with your weekly or bi-monthly newsletters, then you can warm them up. They're going to start to know, like, and trust you. And then eventually the whole idea is to turn them into new patients in your office. And always remember, just like we love free and we love things that require zero commitment. And this is the downfall that I find a lot of practitioners fall into, is that they don't understand, well, I did my seminar and then all these people started asking me questions and they told me they were going to book in, and then I never see them again, or I don't see them for months later or a year later. And that's because patients know that when they book in with you, they have to start making changes. And for some of them, that's a big commitment, and they may not be ready to make that commitment just yet. But if you can get them onto your newsletter list, then you can at least continue to stay top of mind. And I can tell you this month, especially because we are approaching the end of the year, and for everyone who's on the call, I strongly recommend that you start reminding your patients that we are approaching the end of the year. And for those patients that have benefits that are lapsing at the end of December, they really should get in and use them. And I can promise you that this month has been the busiest month that I've had in the past little while. Summer I found to be very quiet, and it's because I'm reminding patients, and I'm getting a ton of new patients coming into the office now because my current ones are getting their spouses in, their partners in, their kids in to all use their benefits. So please, for the next, every other week, remind your patients what your services are, remind them that their benefits are lapsing. And that's a great way to kind of reignite those patients that haven't been in a while. And this week alone, I've had, I think, 4 patients that I haven't seen in over 3 years come back in. And it's because they've remained on my newsletter list and I've stayed top of mind. So that's why it's so important to be giving away information. But for those people that don't necessarily know you yet, that's why a free offer is so important. And remember that your free offer should be some of the best information or services that you have. And they should typically solve a problem for that prospective patient right away. Now, I hope whoever is listening that you don't mind that I use the term patient. I use the term patient because I'm used to using that in my practice. It could be client for you. It could be whatever you're using. So please don't be offended if I'm using the term patient. But you do want to offer them something of value. So don't just offer them some sort of wishy-washy diet list of foods that everybody knows they should be avoiding. You want to make it very unique. You want to make it, have your own unique spin with your own unique language. Maybe take a path that not too many people talk about or something along those lines. And it should save them, as I said here on the slide, either time or money. And if you do it correctly, they will feel like, wow, I can't believe that she's giving this away for free. This is a practitioner that I really want to align myself with. So for instance, one of my coaching clients is certified as a Reiki level 1. And I mean, this is an easy, free 30-minute offer that you could offer anybody who isn't necessarily sure that they're ready to make the commitment to become a naturopathic patient, but they do want to step in the door. And while you're giving this service, while you're giving the Reiki treatment, then you could be talking about, based on this blockage or based on what I'm feeling here, we could do acupuncture. We could talk about these homeopathics. We could, do this, that, or the other. And so that's something that, as long as you get them in the door and you get them in where they, again, receive something free that's amazing and have zero commitment to do anything afterwards, is a great way to get people in the door. And the big thing that I said for anybody who signed up, and all of you did with my registration page, is that those 15-minute consults that we are giving away, I just don't find cut it. I think everybody could talk to you on the phone for 15 minutes without necessarily booking in for a 15-minute consult. But I find that it's just not enough for, I haven't really been super successful, at least, in converting 15-minute visits into anything. But if I get them to do a body composition with me and then I go over the analysis with them, or if I get them to do a live blood analysis with me, then they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that I needed to work on this stuff. And then, of course, you're the person that they will want to work with that on. So this is why I'm saying, come up with something really, really cool that will either drive patients directly into your office, that again requires zero commitment, or create something that they can download. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So Muratab just had an idea. You sell life insurance and you could possibly refer them to those who are NDs. That would be phenomenal. So you could definitely reach out to any of the people that are on this call right now, and you could come up with some sort of a referral program in the way that you could, align, go for coffee, find a practitioner that you trust, that you would trust your referrals to, and then start just kind of generating that networking circle, because networking is huge, right? We know the power of having people feeding into our practices and then in reverse, feeding into other people's businesses. And then Anna says, what about a free cupping treatment, as you mentioned, kind of with Reiki? Absolutely. Now, the only caution I have about cupping is I wonder if and this is just me thinking off the top of my head, if because it is leaving more bruising like rings, like those cup marks on the body, if they weren't necessarily a patient, would you have any concerns around people getting upset about that? I mean, for the most part, it's incredibly safe and you don't have to worry about it. That would just be the only thing, is if somebody was like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to leave these marks or bruises on my body. You know, I just wouldn't want anybody to be turned away from that. But something along those lines sounds wonderful to me. And Anna, all you'd have to do is just be incredibly open and disclose, you know, this is what your body's going to look like afterwards. But anything along those lines. And the thing of it is, guys, is if your schedule isn't even full right now, there's no reason why you can't be giving away some of your free time to get people at least coming into your practice and filling up your schedule with, you know, free visits or free something of some sort, because that's a better use of your time than it's going to be just sitting there and twiddling your thumbs and wishing that people would only come onto your schedule if they were paying. So this is really, especially for those that are starting out, like the ideal time to start getting the practice in. And anytime I use or learn a new technique, I typically always give it away for free or at a significant discount and say, you know, I'm just still learning this. I would love to have the first like 20 people that sign up and be sort of guinea pigs and try this treatment out for free. So in my practice, we do the infrared sauna for free to every single patient or non-patient that wants to try. So things like that, you know, just kind of think outside the box or what you'd like to get better at. And then with regards to crafting your lead magnet, I mean, think about who it is you're targeting. And I hope everybody who's on the call understands what I mean by target audience or their target patient. So what that ultimately means is you may be doing digestive health, but you find that you're really, really successful with patients specifically that have IBS, or patients specifically that want to rule out food sensitivities that are between the ages of 40 and 50, and maybe they're predominantly female. Or you may find that your target audience is pediatrics, especially skin conditions. It might be women that want to get pregnant that are between the ages of 30 and 40. You know, really target your audience. And again, when you target your audience well, you're more likely to get better conversions with your lead magnet because you're going to be talking directly to them. So for instance, that fertility example is you could do the 7 natural ways to boost your fertility that your doctor doesn't know about or that your doctor doesn't tell you. And so this would be, you know, a very simple 1-page document, and it could have 7 bullet points on it with quick descriptions. So it's going to be something very easy to digest. But for those people that are searching out ways to do fertility naturally, and then of course have a natural pregnancy, this is something that would at least capture my attention. And the whole idea of, oh my goodness, my doctor isn't telling me about something, that also engages the interest and really gets people sort of being like, oh my goodness, you know, I really should download this document. Again, it's free, so it's not going to cost them anything, and there's no commitment. So if they don't like it afterwards, then that's okay too. But ideally, when you're creating these 7 steps, you want them to be really, really juicy. The other thing you could do easily is a 7-day clean eating challenge, or beyond that, why don't you do something like a 7-day gluten-free eating challenge, or a 7-day dairy-free eating challenge, or something a little bit more specific. I personally have a 14-day clean eating challenge, and the last time I launched it, it did not go over very well. And so I, you know, kind of researched the people that didn't buy and proposed it to one of my business groups. And they said, you know what, people don't want to just learn how to eat clean. What I would be more interested in is either what's the result that I'm going to get, so lose 10 pounds in 7 days, which we've heard so many times, but it still captures people, or if people are trying to go gluten-free, egg-free, nut-free, you know, give them a challenge for that. And that's really going to do well by those people because that's what they're really looking for. It could be a 30-day hypoallergenic diet program. Again, I wouldn't phrase it as such because people aren't really going to understand what that means. It would have to be more something along the lines of either a weight loss outcome or a clean skin 30-day diet, because we know that hypoallergenic diets can help with eczema, rashes, acne, things like that. It could even be a video series if you really wanted to get kind of creative and make 3, 5 to 10 minute videos on. The first video would be how to identify if you have leaky gut. The second one could be testing for leaky gut. The third one could be healing leaky gut. And just record those presentations, literally you sitting at your desk, nothing fancy. Use your smartphone or your iPhone to record your presentations. All of the videos that I post on social media are just typically done with my cell phone. And then just kind of put it into an automation sequence that will send them a video every single day for 3 days or 5 days or however long you want to do it. And then again, by seeing you and hearing you and getting an idea of how you speak, how you explain things, it's going to really, really amplify how much of the engagement people are going to have with you and how well they're going to connect with you. And I can promise you that with my YouTube videos, I've had more patients say, I heard about you and then I researched you, and then when I went to go to your YouTube videos, I knew that you were the person that I wanted to be because I loved how you explained things, or something like that. So those are just some ideas. Now, with regards to delivery, when it comes to creating your lead magnet, you do want to think about how do you want to do it. So as I said, you could do a video series. You could create a PDF document. You could do an ebook. And for those that have an account with Canva, or if you don't, I encourage you to go to canva.com, and they have beautiful, beautiful ebook templates that a number of my clients have used to create their ebooks. And that would be a perfect place for you to start developing some beautiful, professional looking free giveaways at no extra cost to you. Then we have recipe books, checklists that you could do, cheat sheets that you could make. So people love cheat sheets and checklists because they know it's going to, again, organize their thoughts. So if it was a checklist, what have I done in my past? I've done a checklist for well, for you guys, I've done a checklist for all of the tech stuff in order to create an online program. So here's exactly what you need. You need this software to do this. You need this software to do that. You need your Mac, you need your phone, you need this, that, or the other thing. So it gives you everything that you need, kind of like a grocery list. And that same sort of thing could be kind of put into a cheat sheet. And then with regards to copy, and I'm just going to take a quick break here. Remember that the copy is very important to make it engaging. So the biggest thing that I've talked about on my previous webinars is that as practitioners, we get very caught up in the medical jargon. We get very caught up in talking about the naturopathic or the holistic side of things, but it doesn't speak to our patients. Our patients are not practitioners, and they want to hear things more at a grade 4 reading level. So you need it to be simple. You need it to be easy to digest. If you're talking about detoxification, people don't care that it's going to improve phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. They don't care that it's going to, help with methylation and things like that. That's not what people really want to hear about. They want to hear, okay, it's going to clear my skin. It's going to take away my gas or bloating. It's going to take away my headaches. Like, they do want to hear what the results are going to be if they invest, or if they click on your lead magnet, or if they book in with you for your free cupping treatment, for instance. And the other thing is your lead magnet actually answering a problem that your patient has? So coming back to how to eat gluten-free in 7 days. So this is a big problem that a lot of patients have, is they know that they should be avoiding these foods, and then they have no idea either what gluten is, what foods have gluten in them, where they can go shopping. They're completely lost as to how to do it. So make sure that when you're creating your lead magnet, again, that you want to be solving a problem. So for instance, it could be getting pregnant without medications. So that's going to really set an emotional response for those women that don't want to go through another round of IVF or don't want to be doing any more injections. They want to have everything as natural as possible. And then again, with the talking to a specific person, this is coming back to your target audience. And are you really targeting the exact person that you want to be talking to? So if you're not talking directly to them, they're most likely not going to think that it's for them. So for instance, with my target market, I predominantly talk to women that are 35 to 60, that are busy moms. They want to lose weight. And so when I promote something like I have on my website, I'll say, are you a busy mom? You're putting everybody else first and you're last. Do you want to regain control over the weight gain that you've been putting on since you had your kids? You know, you talk directly to them, and then they're going to, again, evoke that emotional response and be like, yes, you know, finally someone's talking directly to me. And then as you're creating your copy, you want it to be written as if you're speaking to the person, as if that person is your best friend. So this is where avoiding all the technical and the medical jargon is so important, because that already makes it sound, so stiff and so cold. And that's not the person that they want to engage with. They want to, you know, hear your story, and they want to get to know your personality, and they want to really kind of connect with you, because people nowadays are looking for connection to products and services. They're not looking for just, oh, this company has the best reputation because they sell the most whatevers. They really want to invest in the person and invest in the story, and you need to be then selling them that story. So before I continue, as I'm talking about this, guys, is anything kind of resonating with you? Is anything coming up in your sort of like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense, or this is kind of what I would like to do? Anything along those lines? And I'm just going to grab another glass of, or a drink of water here. Like, is this all kind of making sense? And are you thinking, oh yeah, you know, what I've created, I could totally see why it's not necessarily converting, or I don't even have a lead magnet that speaks to a specific person. I'm just hoping that the information that I'm presenting right now is kind of making sense to everyone who's listening. And then with regards to the lead magnet itself, you know, does your program deliver big on what you promised? And the most important thing that you could ever do, especially when you're trying to get people to know, like, and trust you, and get onto your list and want to be on your list so that hopefully they'll convert into new patients afterwards, is that, you know, they have to really be like, oh my goodness, I'm blown away that this was given away for free. I can't believe that this person went so above and beyond to do this, or this is, you know, this is the information that I've been looking for, that sort of thing. So remember that you don't want to be just giving away the fluff. You really want to, this is your way to start building that relationship. This is kind of like your first date with these people. And if your first date doesn't go very well, how often would you ever trust that person again to go on that second date with you? So you really need to over deliver if you can on what you promised, because I've definitely been suckered into downloading some free lead magnets that they made it sound so amazing and so exciting. And then when I downloaded it, it was literally 7 images that they took off of a PowerPoint that had like 1 sentence on every single page and didn't describe or help me do anything. And I was so upset. And then it leaves kind of a bad taste in your mouth when people, you know, get so excited to download something, and then, you know, what they download is nothing that you promised on, or it's so basic and rudimentary that they're like, okay, you know, I could have figured that out on my own. The other big thing that I find is when people create free stuff is they want to, as a way to deliver big, make it huge. So a 30-page ebook. I mean, my goodness, no one's ever going to read 30 pages, especially with the attention span that we have now. So you do need to make sure that it's something that your target person can consume in probably 10 minutes or less. And what you'll do is if you want to make it go longer, then you just deliver more pieces of it over a longer period of time. So maybe the day one download is something very, very quick. And then the day two download builds on day one. And then day three builds on day two. And things like that. And then the other, and probably the most important thing, is it does have to look professional. So just because it's free doesn't mean it has to look free. And then I'm just going to go back to the questions here. So connection is huge, says Emily. Absolutely. I definitely need to bump up the value in my lead magnet for sure. Michelle says, could you mention good platforms to make and send newsletters? And I will be getting to that, I promise you, in the next couple of slides. So this is an example of some of the Facebook ads that I've definitely seen with people in our industry that are very, very successful. So again, very simple, join the 30-day green smoothie challenge. It's free. And then you'll get the shopping list, the recipes, the tips to blend one green smoothie a day for an entire month. Are you in? And the cool thing about what this group did was they asked a question. And whenever you ask a question, naturally your brain wants to answer it. So you're already getting people to think, oh, why wouldn't I be in? Why wouldn't I want to join this? And then they'll put the first name, email, count me in. So they feel like, oh yes, I'm going to be part of something. And this particular company, the Green Smoothie Company, they have, what did they do? In 1 year, they grew their list over 200,000 people just by creating this one smoothie challenge. And this is what now people are trying to replicate over and over and over again. But the most important thing that these girls do is they really try to personalize their engagement with anybody that's on their page. They don't have other people running their page. They're answering all the questions personally. They're highlighting people that have posted success stories. They're really, really creating a wonderful community. And then in the bottom here, we have Betty Rocker, who has like the coolest name, I think. And she has her 30-day body weight challenge. And the 30-day body weight challenge is transform your body in just 15 minutes per day. So again, what's the problem is people want to have a body like her. They don't want to be going to the gym, and they don't want to be spending a ton of time working out. So yeah, that would totally work for my target market because it's every single day she's sending either a video or a workout for you to do that takes no more than 15 minutes, and it's just using your body weight. So that eliminates a lot of the excuses about equipment, about cost, about time. And she's doing all of that in just that very simple title. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, is you want to try to identify what are the troubles that your target market is having, and how can you quickly solve that even in the title and get your lead magnet, engaging and people excited about it. So these are examples of some other lead magnets that I actually don't really like because they're too vague. So 10 beauty hacks from your kitchen. So this is a free ebook and an email course. And while that may sound kind of cool, if it was more like 10 all natural ways to create skin cream for your children that have eczema or something like that, I think I'd be a lot more excited or engaged about it. 10 beauty hacks from your kitchen doesn't really, sell me or excite me a whole lot because I don't understand, like, what's the beauty hack? What is it? Beauty hacks for makeup? Is it beauty hacks for lotions? Is it beauty hacks for toothpaste? Like, what exactly are you trying to get me to buy? And then on the right-hand side, 10 simple steps to a leaner, healthier you. It's so overdone. Like, this whole idea of this vague, leaner, healthier approach is just not really going to, again, excite me. People, as I said, are looking for more that targeted piece of advice. So if she'd even changed it to 10 simple steps to lose 10 pounds beyond 50 years of age or something like that. So then she's targeting women that are postmenopausal, that are struggling with losing weight. That's a much, much easier sell. And I can guarantee that the conversions will be much higher if that is your target market. So now let's talk about when you actually create the lead magnet, how you should promote it. So with regards to putting it on your website, then you want to put it above the fold. So above the fold means you want it to be where as soon as somebody comes onto your website, they don't have to scroll anywhere and they can just see it right away. And remember that you really have 50 seconds, which I think is actually greatly exaggerated, to really capture someone's attention when they arrive to your homepage. So you really have to, if you want them to download that lead magnet that you've created, you can't wait for them to search halfway down your page or at the bottom of the page to do it. So here's some examples. For this particular naturopathic clinic, they, right as soon as I get to their webpage, they have book an appointment now above the fold. So that's right on their webpage. And then here's their adult intake form and child intake form, which is fine if I was ready to make that commitment. But once I go and scroll down, then I have this whole idea of subscribe, it's free, to get into their health newsletter. This is another thing that is incredibly what's the word? Outdated, I would like to say, where we just promote the newsletter to people. Quite honestly, you know, I do that for all of the people that I do my seminars for, but I've just spent an hour and a half with them. So they've gotten their free whatever it was. And then I'll say, would you like to join my newsletter so that you get free information with my newsletter? To use just a newsletter as a lead magnet, I can promise you, no one that is cold coming to your website is going to sign up because they don't know anything about you, and there's no reason for them to join another newsletter from another stranger without getting something free in return. So please make this, if you're going to put it, number one, put it above the fold, so right on your homepage, and do not have it as just a join my newsletter button. I really don't find that that works. Here's another website. So this is great. He has all of his services listed up at the top, but it's not until I scroll down that I see, oh my goodness, he wrote this cool ebook, Wellness Without Limits, which again doesn't really talk to anybody in particular, but you know, I'd be interested in signing up for this ebook. But if it was above the fold, like if it was up here, I think he would probably get a lot more conversions than waiting for someone to hopefully scroll down and then say, okay, yep, I would like my ebook. The other thing is see in this orange button how it says request my ebook now. That isn't nearly as engaging as something like download now or get in your inbox now, or something that's a little bit more exciting and immediate. Request my ebook now almost sounds like I'm going to give you my name and email, and then you're going to decide whether I get to get the ebook or not, and I don't know when that's going to happen. So be very mindful again about the words and the terms that you use in those buttons. So here's my website. So again, I'm targeting, as I said, 35, 37-year-old women to about 60 years of age. And so I have my lead magnets right up at the top. I have a Ever webinar, so a webinar that I'm kind of just running consistently every day. I have my booking links. And then I have these images on the left-hand side that will move. So they'll slide and it'll say different sort of things like, you know you can't do it alone. You need that kick in the butt. You know you need someone to put you first. Let me be that person. That's kind of like the scroll that they see. And then even below the fold as they scroll down, we have, you know, my YouTube videos. We have my free weight loss program, and they can download a 7-day weight loss meal plan for free. And then if they want to upgrade, then they can get the upgrade. So I try to kind of cover my bases by putting it not only above the fold, but below the fold as well. And there's no reason why you can't have multiple free giveaways on your homepage, or at the bottom of every single blog post, there should be a free giveaway. With every video you make, there should be a free giveaway. As many ways that you can get people to engage with you and, number one, capture their email, the better off things are going to be. And then, of course, if you want to invest a little bit further, why don't you start thinking about Facebook ads and running Facebook ads and target your exact location with your exact target market and make sure that you're getting conversions that way. And for the most part, if you're doing things well, it shouldn't cost you any more than about $2 to $3 per lead. And if you think about the return on investment with that, if every single new patient is $160 for their initial, that's a huge ROI. So it cost you $3 to get them to download, and then they spent $160 with you in your office. I mean, that's a no-brainer. How about in your newsletter? So when people are giving or with your nurturing, I will often give away sort of like free replays of my presentation or free something or others every once in a while to my list to again give them more incentive to continue to want to be nurtured by me and to continue to want to stay on my list. And then even things like your promotional material, like on a business card I find is quite useless unless you add value to it. So by adding value to it, that means saying, go to this link to download this free whatever. So again, you're now making your business card invaluable and you're capturing leads from it. Or what I've even done is I put a lead magnet on magnets, and I had somebody go around and put magnets on people's doors. And the lead magnet was a health quiz. And it was just literally download these questionnaires. And then in the follow-up email, I gave them the answers of what the results meant once you completed the questionnaires. So I think I timed it so it showed up the next day or something like that. And I got a few people that, did that. So again, just putting something or giving away like a pamphlet or a brochure or a business card or something like that, it's going to be basically worthless to you unless you can find ways to track whether it's converting people. And then this is kind of the coming back full circle to what your question was about, Michelle, good platforms to make and send newsletters, is how we can do the automation part of it. So this is a question that just came up actually from another person that I was doing a bit of coaching with online. And she said, I have my lead magnet, I have MailChimp, I have no idea how to connect it all. So ultimately what we're doing is when we're creating a lead magnet, you want to create some sort of a beautiful image. So kind of like what I showed you that I have on my website is I have my free webinar as an image. They click on that image and then they're usually sent to a lead box. The lead box is what we're seeing here on the bottom of the screen. So that lead box is what's actually capturing their name and email. So MailChimp is a free one. If anybody's using anything other than what I've posted up here, please post it into the chat window for everybody. If you have a free something or an inexpensive CRM software or emailing software, because I don't know them all, but MailChimp is free. Aweber I have been promoting, but the more I promote it, most people say, a lot of people are going away from Aweber and going back to MailChimp. There's Constant Contact that you can look into. Now, the more inexpensive it is, the less you're going to get. So be very mindful about that. Meaning with MailChimp, I think you get free up to the first 1,000 subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. But you don't get any of the automation. So you're not able to create autoresponders until you pay the $10 or $20 it is per month. Aweber, it's $20 per month no matter what, and that allows you to do just about anything. Constant Contact, I think, is around the same. But again, if anybody is using anything different, please post exactly what the prices are, what the kind of stipulations are. Now, I use something called Lead Pages, which is $50 per month, or you can buy it on an annual sum of, if I'm not mistaken, $400, and that's US. And they help me create the landing page. They have all the lead boxes. That's basically how I collect all of my leads. It's no different than MailChimp. It's just offering you prettier software, prettier pages. And then there's also something called ClickFunnels, which a lot of people use. And ClickFunnels, if I'm not mistaken, includes the ability to send out the emails as well. So these are some of the software that you can use. And then what you're going to do is you have your image of your lead magnet. When they click that image, they get sent to this box where they will insert their name and email. And then from that, that's where you have to activate your email sequence. So either it's going to generate the download, it's going to send them to a link to download, it's going to send them to another page to say, okay, thank you so much. Here is all the information that I promised you. But if you don't have that sequence in place, then people are going to give you their name and email and they're not going to receive what they wanted, and you've already lost their trust. So when we're talking about the follow-up, and this is just an example of one of my lead pages that I've created. So here's a 30-day Maximize Your Movement challenge where every other day I send them an email on how they can move their body either with an article or a video for them to watch that has an exercise routine, and start your challenge now. And I launch that every July. But ultimately, the key is in the follow-up. So you could do a lead magnet, and this is where I find a lot of people also trip up, is they'll create a lead magnet, they will send them the free information, and then they don't talk to them ever again. So that's a real problem because we want to get them into our offices. We want them to convert into paying patients. So in some way, shape, or form, you have to, again, continue to talk to them very, very frequently while things are hot, while they're engaged, while they're going through your lead magnet, and really try to get them either onto your newsletter list or into your office. So for the most part, what I strongly encourage is emailing them every single day for anywhere from 5 to 7 days from the point that they've downloaded your lead magnet. And as I said, that could be, the first one is just, thank you for opting in. Here's the free download that I promised. Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you a story about what prompted me to create this lead magnet. And then they're already anticipating what they're going to get from you tomorrow. Or it could be something like, here's the free download that I promised. Here's just a little story about me and why I do what I do. Be sure to check your email tomorrow because I have a really great free recipe that goes along with the lead magnet to share with you. And so the key in getting people to want to continue to open those emails is that PS. PS, don't forget that tomorrow I'm going to send you this. Don't forget that tomorrow we're going to talk about, what the top 5 gluten-containing foods are that you never would have guessed contained gluten. So if you don't feel comfortable doing it every day, I would strongly encourage every other day for the first week. And then at the very end of the week, that's when you really want to start leading them into where you want them to go. So for the last, let's say, email 5, 6, and 7, you should already be hinting at, here's a patient that I worked with who went gluten-free and this is what happened. If you're interested in booking in with me, here's my booking link. Email 6 is, I really wanted to make sure that if you wanted to book in with me, I have the following time slots available just for you if you feel that you need a little bit more one-on-one conversation around how to implement the gluten-free eating challenge. And then finally, day 7 is, don't forget to book in with me before those time slots are given up, whatever. So you're first giving away all the free stuff. It's all about them. It's all about nurturing them. And then at the end, you're starting to really kind of feed that into, okay, this is what I actually want you to do. So you don't want to make it so obvious. And you certainly don't want to, in that very first download, say, here's your free download. Don't forget to book in with me today. Because they don't know you. They haven't read over the download. They don't trust you yet. But that's why continuing to send them emails for a short period of time allows them to build that trust. And then that's what I said at the very bottom here is just think about what that ultimate goal is. Is the ultimate goal for you for them to buy a video that you created on your website, because then that's what you could do. Or your ultimate goal is for them to buy some sort of a small valued ebook that you created, maybe for $10. Or you want them to get into your office. It's whatever you want it to be, but I strongly encourage you to really try to focus on the nurturing side of things and then start to kind of poke okay, this is what I actually want you to do. So Emily asks, with MailChimp, are all the follow-up emails automated? If I'm not mistaken, if you have the paid MailChimp account, you can create the automation. And by automated, that means anytime somebody downloads your free download, you can put timers to your emails so that they will go out every single day from that starting point, and then patients or the prospect or whatever will then automatically go through what we call your funnel. So you don't have to be constantly emailing every single person yourself, which I promise you is going to be a way bigger headache than you could ever imagine, because you don't know when people are going to come to your site, when they're going to want to download your free download. So yes, you want to find things that email softwares that allow you to set those timers and allow things to be automated, and MailChimp is definitely one of them. So to kind of wrap up here, guys, because I don't want to take you too much further than beyond 9 o'clock tonight, is with everything that we just went over, I really want to make sure that you don't get in your way. And I hope that I laid everything out in as clear and concise a map as possible. And by getting in your way, that means you're going to want to make things perfect, and you're going to want to, I'm not going to release this lead magnet until I know that everything is done right. And this is the problem, is that we have people out there that are waiting for you to help them and for you to say, well, I don't think I can really help you from drowning right now because I don't have the perfect lead magnet. I haven't made the perfect image. I don't have, every single email drafted perfectly and perfectly edited and all these other things. There's no reason why you can't get things going now and then tweak them as you go. Because as soon as you post your lead magnet, it's unlikely that in the first, half an hour, someone is going to download it unless you really put it into people's faces. So that gives you the ability to at least get the image out, link it to the lead box, link it to your automation sequence, which is your emails, and then you can create the emails literally by tomorrow, because they're only going to need the download email today, and then tomorrow you're going to give them something, and then the next day something new. So, please do not get in your way when it comes to the idea of perfection. People want to be helped immediately. So I would love for everybody to post before we close up today, sort of when you'd like to have your lead magnet created and launched by. And if you put it into the chat window, it makes it a lot more real. And I strongly encourage you to do so, because by doing that, by making it more real, you will be more likely to accomplish that goal. So please post, if you want it to be by Sunday, you're going to have it done. If you want it to be by tomorrow, you're going to have it done. I've made lead magnets in 30 minutes or less. So I can promise you it does not need to take days or weeks or months. Does anybody have any dates in mind that they're sort of thinking, this would be my ideal completion date? November 12th, Emily, amazing. Next Friday, says Michelle. Friday, says Kelsey. So that's beautiful. So now that you guys have put it out into the universe and you've shown everybody your date, I think you're good to go. So that was kind of basically what I wanted to accomplish for tonight. Was there any last minute questions or concerns or anything that anybody wanted to go over with me? And I will be leaving this replay up indefinitely, so it's not going to go down by any means on my YouTube channel. And you'll be getting all of that hopefully tomorrow, if not Friday, the replay link. Otherwise, I'm assuming this was all good food for thought. You have enough action steps to kind of get you going. You are so welcome, Emily. I really do hope that you got what you were hoping to get out of this, at least good food for thought. Is it difficult to set lead pages up directly into your website? Honestly, it is so easy, Kelsey. The lead page itself, all you have to do is you just download a widget. So I have a WordPress site, and Lead Pages has created a widget that allows you to upload every single lead page you create as if it was a page on your site. So it literally takes minutes to set it up directly into your website. Any other questions at all? Michelle, I'm so pleased that you could join me. And if there are questions that come up, my goodness, hit me up over email, go onto my website and send me a message, find me on social media, any way that I can help you. Kelsey, my pleasure. Thank you so much for joining. And if anybody wanted me to even go over a lead magnet that they created, you can always book that 30-minute strategy call on my website, and we can always get together and do things more one-on-one. But if that's it for everyone, I am going to end this webinar for tonight. Thank you again so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next webinar.